Good morning, dear students. Today we will start a new lesson, lesson 3, evolution of a star. Life cycle of a star. The star have a life cycle like the human, but it takes millions or billions of years. The stars dies in different ways, depending on their size. So the stars have life cycles, they born and die after millions or billions of years. Stars dies in different ways depending on their size. So the small stars or the medium-sized stars die is in a different way than the massive stars or the big stars. As you can see in this picture, they all start with a nebula, but the low mass stars have life cycle differ than the massive stars or the big stars. A low or the medium-sized star life cycle. It begins with nebula. What is nebula? It's a cloud of gas and dust coming together to form a star. So it's not just a cloud of gas and dust attracted together by gravitational force. It is not truly a star till now because no fusion of hydrogen into helium. Okay, we will start the fusion of hydrogen into helium in the protostar level or phase. Next phase will be the protostar. It is formed when the nuclear protostar produce enormous amount of thermal energy. So in the protostar you have to know that it starts the nuclear fusion and it releases enormous amount of thermal energy. Then the star will move to the main sequence. The main sequence is the phase that our sun now is in the main sequence phase. Okay, the star becomes the main sequence. It begins to fuse hydrogen into helium. In the main sequence, the continuous fusion of the hydrogen into helium occurs. The star moves off the main sequence when the hydrogen supply is nearly gone. So if the hydrogen is nearly coming to gone, the star will move to another level or will leave the main sequence phase and move to another phase. The fourth level will be in the red giant level or phase. When the helium is gone, the sun will expand again, forming a red giant. Then the last step in the medium-sized star will be white dwarf. The white dwarf will be a slowly cooling dense sphere of carbon. So here you can see another element is formed. We are talking all the time about the hydrogen and helium, but in this phases or the last phases, the star becomes to form another heavier elements like the carbon, iron, magnesium, and so on. Okay. Massive star's life cycle. It starts also with a nebula, then protostar as the small stars, but then it moves to something called supernova. The supernova, when the star, the massive star becomes the supernova, is an enormous explosion that destroys a star. Then the last phases is the neutron star or black hole. So the supermassive stars will move into a neutron star or black hole. The neutron star depends on the size of the star. Even it will end as a neutron star or it will end as a black hole. Neutron star is a dense core of neutrons that remains after the supernova, while the black hole is an object whose gravity is so great that no light even can escape from it. What happens to the Earth when the suns run out of fuel? It's a very important question. When the sun runs out of hydrogen in about 5 billion of years, it will become a red giant. Once the helium fusion begins, the sun will contract. When the helium is gone, the sun will expand again, absorbing Mercury, Venus, Earth, and pushing Mars and the rest of the planets. And then the sun will become a white dwarf, and the solar system will become cold and dark. Thanks so much. Prepare your questions for the next